we've got a pretty significant leak in the spillway pipe. That's a bummer, man. I hate that. Oh man, look at the pond. It's the most water I've ever seen in it. It is almost completely full right now. We'll check it out in a little bit. Well, what's up, guys? It's Daniel from Arms Family Homestead, and I'm back over at the Mill Creek property. I came to get the Moshio Flail mower. I didn't get any. I was gonna video loading it up. I needed Weston's help because, well, the New Holland skid steer. If you're trying to get in and out while you're working the boom on the front, it's almost impossible to, drive up to something, use some chains to lift it up, and then set it on the trailer, because it wasn't worth loading the tractor and bringing it all the way over here, unloading it, hooking up the flail mower, loading it back up. I thought, well, I'll just pick it up and set it on there with the skid steer, but I had to have somebody outside to hook up the chains and all of that. And my goal for today was to get him to help me load that. He's got to get out of here. He's got an appointment to get to today, so he's already left, and I was gonna move some cedar trees with the skid steer. Well, it's a little too wet, and that's one of the downfalls of a tracked skid steer, is they will tear up the ground. So we got quite a bit of rain the last week or so. I was hoping it had dried out enough that I could come over here and work, but it's just not worth tearing everything up for. So we're gonna go around. I'm gonna check a couple game cameras, and let's go look at the pond, because check it out. It's not completely full. Why am I walking? I think I'm gonna jump on the Kubota Sidekick. Anyways, we'll drive over there. It's not completely full, but it has more water in it right now than it's had since we bought this place. Well, I can hear water running. That means we're losing quite a bit of water. If I can hear it from the top of the dam. I don't have on tall rubber boots, so I can't go down and see, but you can tell. We've got a pretty significant leak in the spillway pipe. That's a bummer, man. I hate that. And when we tried to reuse the spillway pipe, the original spillway pipe, I knew it was rusted and had some leaks in it, but I was really hoping we could salvage it, save it, and be able to use that as a spillway overflow pipe. But I don't think so. The amount of water that's flowing out of there right now is definitely going to drain a significant amount of water out of the pond. So I'm glad I hadn't started putting fish habitat in the pond and started stocking fish, because I was kind of waiting to see, well, the results of what that pipe was going to do, and if the pond was even going to hold water. And it looks awesome now that it's almost full. I mean, you can see full pool would be to the top of that spillway pipe, so we're still 2 feet from being full, so it would flood back up into the timber quite a ways. So that's kind of a bummer, but it's good to know. I mean, I'd rather have a definitive answer versus not knowing if it's leaking that bad or whatever, but it's got a pretty significant leak. Now, one thing I'm not seeing is any fresh beaver sign. Our beaver friend has not been trapped yet, but I was expecting to come over here and see active beaver slides and lots of fresh tracks. It's been about 2 days since it rained, so I would think in the 2 separate nights he would have been coming out to work and do his thing, and I would at least see tracks. And I'm not seeing any fresh sign. Kind of odd. I would have expected him to still be here. I've only been putting off trapping him mostly because I want Houston to be a part of it, and we pretty much are limited to coming over here and setting traps on a Friday evening, hoping we catch him that night because he's got school every other day or church, or we got ball games and things. So maybe spring break we can come over here and spend some time, do some work, do some trapping, and maybe catch our beaver if he hasn't moved on to somewhere else. Check this camera on the dam. It's just right next to the spillway. Maybe if our beaver friend is here, we'll have some are you kidding me? Camera's turned off. That battery wasn't where it was supposed to be, and it's in the off position. I'm guessing I totally forgot the last time I was over here the batteries were dead and didn't have any batteries. It'll probably say low battery if I put a card in there. Yep, low battery. Dang it, I didn't bring any batteries with me today. Well, I guess I can't say it was an unsuccessful day. I came over here to get the flail mower because I do want to take it and the tractor over to the new property that we bought the other day, because it's got a lot of small brush and things, and it'll just grind everything up smaller than a regular, brush hog would. And I want to try it out a little more. I've only got to use it for like a couple hours. And I was hoping to get a little work done on the skid steer, move some of these cedar trees and stuff. Too muddy for that. And bad news about the pond. The spillway pipe is no good. So we'll go do something else today instead. Sheesh almighty. I don't know if you guys could tell on video or not, but that bugger is heavy. It's almost spring. Growing season will be here soon. I really do want to try this Moschio flail mower out a lot more. And I said I was going to be taking it over to the new property, the abandoned Homestead property, but I think we'll go over there with the lawnmower first. A lot of that, it's got low-hanging trees and branches everywhere. Probably just better off take the lawnmower over there, and you can kind of see everything around you. There's a lot of trash and debris and stuff on the ground, so might take this over to mow that one side of the property that's real tall, dead Johnson grass later. But with as much rain as we've been getting lately, not taking the tractor over there, and I don't want to roll a bunch of wire up in this thing, but I am gonna take that land plane off the back of the tractor, hook this up. I do have to change out 2 teeth on it. I didn't show you that when we did our first initial video when Brock was here, but Brock and I actually broke 2 of the teeth testing this thing out. We might have gone a little above the manufacturer's rating on the diameter of stuff we were trying to mulch up, just seeing what it would do. So I've got to replace a couple teeth on it. Should be a super easy process, and then I don't know, may find something I can cut with it. There's a broken hammer right there, and right there. There's a broken hammer. Well, that was pretty simple. Got the 2 hammers changed out, and you know, the rest of them don't look too bad. But like I said, that was no fault of Mashio. I think it's built plenty strong. We were just testing it out on some material that it wasn't meant to do. And actually what I think happened was, the reason 2 are broken in the same spot is when Brock had this thing hooked up and was mulching up some small trees, we hit a rock that was buried into the ground, and that's probably what did it. But the hardest part was just getting the bolts loose to raise the lid right here. But it's got a lot of different adjustment points. You can set this for how far you want it to go down so it could kick some material up. But I'm going to get those bolts back in place, and there's one on either side. Grease it up real good again and test her out. I was cleaning up around these trees, just kind of trying to mow up close to them, and I hit something in the ground, some sort of steel. Look at this. And I found a couple pieces of the hammers. So that's a cutting edge off of the hammer right there. And there's some paint everywhere. You know, obviously it's not meant to hit steel, and that was just buried in the grass. So I'm gonna see if I can figure out what kind of damage we did to a hammer here. Okay, here's one hammer that got the brunt of the metal, and here's the other. Took a big chunk out of both of them. It's not a good thing. Obviously the hammers are easily replaceable, but they're a little easier to break than I expected. And you know, it's just part of living on a farm. You're gonna find stuff like this, and there's no telling. That's probably been laying on the ground out here for 50 years. There's just stuff like that, and today, well, we found it with the flail mower. Now, other than hitting that large chunk of metal, this thing is incredible. This is only the second time I've ever used it, but this thing versus just your standard rotary cutter, brush hog mower, you know, it doesn't stick out near as far from the tractor. But the main thing is it's almost like a mulcher. This is the Moshio Terminator, a big heavy duty, super heavy duty flail mower. And it makes a mulch. So when you run over, you know, brush and grass and little trees and things, it basically just mulches it up like a forestry mulcher would. But it's not made to hit metal. Where you going, Jesse? Where are you going? Are the goats not letting you eat right now? Are they being bullies? Them little baby goats. You are the cuddliest little donkey. You know that? Wait back, okay? Stay back.
People are going to be making fun of me. Because, huh?
I don't have to leave those in there.
People are going to be laughing at me because of my face. That's me. Yeah, you got wind?
You get under it a lot of times, okay?
Like that?
Yep. That front, no, don't chop down with it. Hey, that front hand, like a frisbee. Okay? See how wide your feet are getting? You don't get such a wide stance. Every time you swing, you're getting a little wider. There you go. Slow down. There you go. Good swing. You about missed it.
Yeah.
Slow down. Take your time. Don't get in a hurry.